Okay, so we're back with another video of how to obtain Greatsword Old. So step number one, I know this recording is the opposite of the clip, but I can explain. So if you spawn at a bar, go straight, then right again, and you see this cave. And then if you keep on going down that cave, you will find Underground City. If you keep on going straight and left into the big tall building, if you go up in it, there should be a room of a bunch of guys holding great swords, and that guy will teach you. You have to buy great sword, and after you buy the great sword, the guy will give you a quest. And the quest is basically you have to destroy 3 stands, and basically you have to run out, destroy the stand with nobody in it, or the one Divinos, the blue guy is in. Then after hit the guy with the black shirt, that stand. Then after keep on going down and hit the other stand. Then after run back, climb up the wall, and then go hide in the farthest wall from the entrance. And then you crouch. If you did it correctly, you should get a white or silver signal above your head, which signifies you completed the quest. And and then after you get great sword, you buy all the skills. It costs around 20 to 25 grips to get great sword. It may cost 15, but it's a very changing game. So if you check 15 grips, if it says no, go get around 20. If it still says no, you have 25. Then then after you get great sword, to get old greatsword, go outside of the underground city, and if you go straight down and you see a guy on the wall having the greatsword armor, talk to him and he'll pay you 750 silver for 2 skills, which will make you first have normal bad M1s, untrained M1s I mean, and then has chokehold. Chokehold is basically heart thrust, but on a more stunning skill, and doesn't sometimes just fling them to the moon. So next of all, that's here's the moveset. So for your M1s of old greatsword, it's the same thing as before, 4 punches and a heavy hit. To make sure the last heavy hit hits, especially against fist or dagger classes, do 1, 2, 3, 4, then back up just a little bit so even if they try to hit, you're out of their range and you outrange them, and then you hit them back. They're not fast enough to get out of your head, so you either have to press M1 or take the hit. And if they press M1 and you're backing up, you're guaranteed to get the hit. And then after, the next move is called chokehold. Basically, if you played with normal greatsword, it's basically heart thrust, but instead of normal heart thrust, it's just you grab them by instead of stabbing them through the chest and smashing them to the ground. This one you grab them and choke them and put them into the ground. This has a higher chance of proccing a broken arm, and the reason that I prefer this a lot more is, first, it's great at trolling, grabbing people and just throwing them, and then some people breaking their arm. It's funny, but people get mad at it, but that's not the point. The main reason the other thing that makes chokehold great is that instead of heart thrust, sometimes when you hit heart thrust, your enemy just bounces off the ground and goes to space. So you can't even hit the next move, which is called Earth Shatter, which you basically throw your greatsword in the air and hit the ground, which causes anything in the forward radius to be shot up and take a lot of damage, and also has, of course, a chance to break your arm. These moves are very great. The simple combo is 1, 2, 3, 4, chokehold, hit them on the ground, and then use T. It's very simple, very easy. But the only problem is if chokehold is on cooldown, and that's the only time it's bad, when it's on cooldown. And that's pretty much the moveset. And then here's the tips. Greatsword is a very aggressive class. What I mean very aggressive. You have to make sure an enemy is very aggressive. I usually am a passive aggressive person in the game, so my biggest tip is to try to herd your enemy. I call it herding. Basically, you have to herd your enemy into a corner, which they have no point until face you straight on. Also, don't forget you have fast M1s. Your basically M1s are fast as fists. Probably even just slightly slower, but they're still fast as fists. So don't let that caught off guard. So technically, you're still faster than a lot of classes, a lot of things, including spear, scythe, and a lot of other classes. So don't take that into consideration. Also, greatsword gets clapped if you're on the run. If you're on the run and someone chases you, you can't really escape due to your low health pool. And since you have a low health, your high health pool, sure, you may be able to take them down, but especially during gangs or a lot of people attacking you at once, it becomes very hard. It becomes very hard to keep up with them. And the main reason why Greatsword is probably a very great class is that you can brawl with characters that people only could dream of. So you can go crazy on classes that they would have dreamed. So if you manage to cut off a person off guard, and they break their arm, if you break their arm, it's game over, because breaking your arm has these debuffs. Number one, your arm will have you can't cast spells. First, you can't cast spells. Secondly, you can't climb at all. Like, what I mean, climb at all, like you can't even climb. And that's very horrible. That's very hard. That's very, 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 very hard. Very, very hard to fight with them. I'm not kidding. I'm a good player, and when I have a broken arm, I just cry. I'm not being mean. I just cry because it's impossible to fight. Also, this kind of disorients your kind of gravity. I don't know what to call it, but it's decent. But the main reason why this is Greatsword is good is the broken arm. The main tips is Greatsword. You need to be aggressive. You need to be in there. You need to brawl. Since you have speed now, you're not on the defense anymore. You're on the offense. And spear classes and scythe classes suffer if you press one button. And this is tip for every single class in the entire game. If you press F, you basically win, and you basically just win every battle. And basically, it's almost impossible to lose to an F. As you can see in these clips, if you hold F for around 3 hits of a fist or 3 hits of a dagger, it becomes very easy to combo them. Because if you wait for 1 or 2 hits, if you wait for 1 hit and you start hitting, since the first 2 hits of a fist M1, including a dagger M1, is the same speed, you'll be caught when you're trying to do your M1. Also, as you can see in this clip where you see him, is if the enemy blocks or hit, just give him another M1 combo. If your enemy keeps on pressing F in these combos, this is just a lot of free damage. Also, don't forget you have spells, because I see Greatswords out there crying and doing the same spell over and over. You have spells, my man. Also, just don't forget you have spells. But don't spell spam though, but make sure you try to use your spells at least. Another tip is always pick the right snap. My best snap is Flame. It's Flamelia. I don't know how to say it. Flame. I'm just gonna call it Flame. But basically, Flame is probably the best snap because the combo is usually 1, 2, 3, 4 choke slam, and then hit Earth Shatter, and then right when they're coming down, use snap Flame. Or in other combo, this is pretty hard to land, but the combo is 1, 2, 3, 4 choke slam. And then right as they get up, use Flame, so they get knocked down again. Then while they're knocked down, use Earth Shatter, so you can hit them again. So that's actually a pretty good combo. And Flame is your main, as another big source, because Flame, around my testing, it does around 22 damage if the enemy spams Q. But the average damage is around 25, so that's insane. Also, if you want a very big, if you really want a very, very broken class, if you have my race, which you see the blue bar, basically if you have that blue bar, it increases your defense and basically your HP by a lot. So that means you have already the Greatsword armor, which gives you a lot of HP plus your race. And if you get Sigil him, and that's why I'm rotting people right now, so get Sigil, you're basically gonna have, according to the trailer, you're gonna have around 400 HP. Or 300, I'm not sure, but that's a lot of HP. And this allows you to make lots of mistakes. But still, you gotta be very careful for classes that are very aggressive. Very aggressive. And another tip, a very great tip, is that always the glaring weakness of Greatsword is it sucks in team fights, especially old Greatsword. Greatsword is slow, and even an old Greatsword where it's actually decently fast, it still is best for one combo. It is very, very, very hard to fight in team fights. And you see, if you see this video later, you see me getting attacked by 2 people. It is nearly impossible to fight people like that. Also, these 2 trees attack me. Don't get mad at them though, it's alright. But basically, I get really annoyed because it takes forever. Also, it's very annoying for it to happen, but very, very annoying to get double on with every class. Also, the only counter to Greatsword in this class is mainly overall Scythe. Scythe is your enemy. It's so annoying. Scythe is so annoying to you because Scythe raises your bar at extreme speeds, which makes it ridiculous to fight Scythes because if you get hit by 1-1, your bar just goes all the way up. And by the way, if your bar reaches maximum, you basically get 1 shot by every move in the game. So I just recommend never getting your bar. That's why I asked to lower my bar, because it's very annoying. I'm not joking. It's like probably the most annoying thing in the game when your bar is max, especially in Conquest. This class, I've been talking about the perspective of a class that a Greatsword that has spells available. Alright, for the first thing, Greatsword is actually pretty good in Conquest due to the large HP pool. 80% of the time, if you have a friend that's Assassin, Ronin, or any class with low HP, you'll find yourself in this situation where your teammate has 1 life and the enemy has like 2 or 3 lives, and you still have your 3 lives. This happens a lot because most of the time, if you have max food, you're going to be healing while you're trying to fight. So this is very nice and very great. But mainly overall, Greatsword is probably one of the better classes if you use it correctly. But one of the main glaring counters is, if you just saw right there, is when you try to use the M1 combo while your moves are on cooldown and they use M2. This is kind of a question: can you time it? Because 80% of the time you either mistime it or undertime it, which gets you perfect block. Or if you finally land that move, it's filthy. It's so satisfying landing that hit. It's very satisfying, but you gotta give it to them when lag hits and you just can't properly work anymore. But Greatsword is still a very great class. Sure, it may not be for me or some people. It could be good. Also here, as you saw there, when he uses flame, you saw me not get hit because this is called hyper armor. And for some annoying reason, hyper armor makes you not take knockback from spells. I don't know how this works, but if you use a move like an M2 at the right time, you have hyper armor in M2 in some parts of it. If you use it at the right time while you're getting a spell, you'll get caught in ice or flame or whatever spell you're doing, but you won't get stunned nor moved. So if a flame hits you while you're in a hyper armor move, you're not gonna move. You're a rock at the moment. And it's kind of funny when the enemy tries to do a flame Terra combo, and you just see him do a flame Terra, and then they miss it. It's pretty funny, but the biggest tip I have for starter Greatsword players is that just use trained Greatsword than OGS, because OGS is kind of like a tryhard's main thing, because you really gotta be good at the game. I'm not being mean, because you can clap if you're new to the game, but it gets very hard and it's just complicated to get into. So Greatsword is like good and you're like, oh, so where's the counters? The good old counters. Well, I already told you Scythe is one, but one of the biggest counters is a class that attacks fast, including Phoenix. If a Phoenix keeps on rushing you, you don't have time to land your M1s or time to think. If you don't take your time to think or anything, you're gonna get in big trouble. You gotta think about it. But the main class that counters you, is including your race, my race, is Scythe, because it increases your bar fast. And the next thing that counters you is like Spear or Brawler or other greatswords. Mainly other greatswords since they're long range and you're small range. But if you really want a really scary class, three classes you gotta be watching out is Scythe, is really good Scythes, really good Phoenixes, and really good Brawlers. If you could better watch all for those, because if you mess up, they're gonna mess you up. But just gotta be careful around them. Very careful, because if you get into combos, they're very dangerous combos. But if the Phoenix fails this combo, well, it's kind of a win for you. But the main reason why Phoenix and Scythe is really scary is because they can raise your bar extreme amounts and do a lot of damage at the same time. And you're probably asking, well, how do you get really good at greatsword? Well, my biggest tip is just practice. When you get a class, and any class, this just goes for everyone. If you get a class, I just recommend just to practice one, not having money on you, and then just keep on fighting the guy over and over and kind of ignore what he's saying. Like, if he calls you bad, who cares? Just keep on practicing. If you're defeating him, that's great. So also, a big, very thing that's been going around the community is that I don't know why I say this. Terra is the best snap with greatsword. Yes, Terra is a good snap for like Amon or Lumen to close the distance or to make a distance and the guy. So it's really neat for mage classes, but for you, it's really bad, because you greatsword, especially old/new greatsword, you still need to be close to your enemy. That's the reason Lumen and mages need it, is because they usually have long range spells or spells that bring your enemy closer to you. So there's really no point in having them close in the first place. That's why Terra is so useful, because while your enemy's getting flung in the air, you can just be running backwards to close to make distance between you and your enemy, to be balanced, to be good. So then probably that's pretty much it. But you gotta be very careful around those classes. But you gotta practice. I know you're probably saying losing. You gotta practice, man. I didn't just get this because of nothing. I had to practice. And even if you get the best class in the game, you still suck. I'm not being mean, but when I first played the game, I couldn't do anything. I sucked. I'm telling you, I was literally running around mindless, losing everything. Until I got wise words from a person that told me how to game. That's why I'm making this channel. But at the point, you just gotta practice. You gotta keep on going. Also, this is where the location is. If you're wondering, I'm gonna have to show this guy. Then he leaves me. So basically, this is them just showing the location. He just wants to learn it. So basically, the main reason why greatsword is such a great class is because it requires skill and time. So basically, if you want to see the location, here it is. This is where the trainer is. So if you keep on following me here, if you go straight from here and see the trainer up there, if you go right and then down, you get to find the underground city. Then you go forward, then left to the left of the huge building next to Marcus stands. The last Marcus stand where the blue guy with the cow spawns, you will find the greatsword trainer. So basically, the main thing is that greatsword is a very great class, and it will take up for a lot of things for me just to give it up. Train greatsword is another thing, but I might as well talk about it. Train greatsword is very odd, because train greatsword really teaches you how to become, like, I don't know how to understand. Train greatsword is hard to use because it's so slow. Here's the guy where it is. Here's the guy that teaches you it. So, but train greatsword is like greatsword, but is very hard to use and it's more complicated since you have slower M1s. And hard thrust is very, very annoying to use. Due to hard thrust being annoying to use and flinging your enemy either 80 feet away from you or working so you can have them close, it sometimes pays off, but I don't know. But Trained Greatsword is still the same tips, but you just gotta be much careful when you're using Trained Greatsword because you have slower M1. Sure, you have more hyper armor, which allows you to do more mage blocks, but I just don't recommend it. And just please don't use Terra or Sagita. I know the Sagita combo sounds like the juicy combo that we all wish for, but you already know all those old. Sagita's broken right now in the current time and date of the video, so if you get her like a day from now or a couple of days from now, it's gonna be broken. But always watch out for this. Always watch out for classes that are fast, especially when you're using Greatsword. Also, in this clip, I'm attacking this Phoenix guy and you see him. He's trying to counter. He's using counters. I got lucky by that assassin accidentally using that his death bound. And now I'm doing the combo. You see, sometimes they just get flung to Brazil. Did you see that? Did you get whee? And sometimes when you barely hit them, but you don't. Also, the reason I jump and dash backwards is it looks like I'm gonna use a snap. And usually a lot of enemies hold mana block during it. And it's a very nice thing if they accidentally do, because it basically is a free M1 combo. I'm pretty laggy right now, but don't forget that your M1s are not bad. You just need to learn how to use them. A lot of people call Train OGS sucks. Well, you just need to learn how to use them. If you learn how to use OGS, you're gonna be very good at the game. That's the same thing with every class. People call classes better. Yes, entirely classes are good if you use them correctly, but some classes are just do better in one thing than the other. Greatsword might not be built for heavy 1v1 combat or 3v3 combat. It may not be built for that, but it still means that it could do fights. So like that's what I wanted from Chokeslam. Just a little nibble or move, just nice, but that's not the point. So Sagita, talking about Sagita, you gotta use it correctly. Sagita is a very, very powerful thing. Yes, Sagita is very beautiful. Mamma mia. But Sagita is broken right now, so don't waste your time farming for like an hour to get Sagita. Also, a weird thing is that when using Flame, please don't do that. Please don't be that type of guy that does it. I'm talking to those few people out there that shoots Flame out of nowhere, like just because it's fun. Like, just because, yes. Don't do that, because that's so easy to counter. It's so easy just to hit shoot. It's so easy to counter that. It's so easy to mana block, so I'm telling you, never, ever in the entire world, never shoot Flame out. The only time you shoot Flame is during a combo or when you have to. In this clip, I get kind of greedy and I get what I deserve. I kind of lose, but you already know. I was thinking he was the best player, but I'm not. And I was surprised because he's on the top leaderboards. And also, this is my alt account. I got banned on Roblox for 7 days, but that's not the point. So this is my alt account. That's why I have a different name. My real name in game is Woodrow Waffle, and if you see me in game, that's pretty nice. But the game is really hard, so just don't give up. Greatsword is a class that needs skill, so if you're gonna play the game, I just recommend playing some other class. Like, how about maybe like Brawler, because Brawler is easy to use. All you need is timing. Probably the best class in the game is Amon. I'll make a review on Amon after I get some video of it. But that's basically all about about it. But the biggest thing about the game is that just don't give up. People may call you garbage, may call you trash, but it's just a game after all. I know you guys heard that, but. And the reason I'm making this format is to help people, yada yada, you already heard it, but this this is a very nice nice channel and a pretty good community. Besides the community in game, it's not a good community, but the main thing is that the most discussion worthy thing we have to talk about is that the community needs to kind of be fixed just a little bit, just like not community, just like sometimes Greatsword just doesn't work. Here's the biggest big bugs with Greatsword. Number 1, choke slam just sends them to Brazil. Since Shaker, his name's Shaker. Oh, I'm just gonna call it Shatter anyways. But Earth Shatter is a very short range from before. Before it used to be very long and wide, so basically hit anyone with that. But now it got nerfed hugely, and now it's very small. So that means when you're using Earth Slam or Choke Slam, Heart Thrust or Choke Slam, and they get sent to Brazil, and you try to hit them with Earth Shatter, but it doesn't land, it makes me honestly mad. These just like 80% of the time it's close, or it's just the game's fault, and I hate it. I honestly really do not like it at all. It's probably one of the most annoying things to me. But another thing that's weird with Greatsword, including both the Greatsword, is that sometimes the Greatsword kind of just goes, this is kind of a good side of it, but it kind of just says, I'm gonna go crazy, and sends the enemy and hits the enemy from basically almost across the map. Your Greatsword, you'll be surprised of what the range is. Sometimes if you think your range is pretty short, you'll be surprised. It's pretty crazy range, but that's pretty much the end of the video. You can watch the video, it has like 2 minutes left. I know this is a long rant, I'm sorry it's long, but I hope you enjoyed it, and that's pretty much it. So I hope you enjoy, and that's pretty much the video. There's probably only like 6 minutes left. So if you want to see me, if you want to see me getting beat up for like 4 minutes or 5 minutes, you could just continue to watch the video. So hope you enjoyed that video, and I'm planning to do Amon next because that's the best class in the game, and that's the class I currently have. I'm planning to do Amon, then Lumen, because on this account this is old footage. But right now I wiped my Greatsword here, and I got Lumen, which was a long solo progression, but I wish I got that on camera. But then after I got Amon on my main, and I'm planning to play some Amon. So sorry for the long rant. If you stay here for 28 minutes all this time, you're a true one. So I hope you enjoyed it. I know this video is kind of boring compared to the last one, and I'm still trying to figure out how to edit good, and I don't know how this black screen got did, but hope you enjoyed. I'll see you later. Peace.